The West has a very strange concept relating to sexual discomfort. We are aware of the female sexual liberation being a central movement in the West, and of course, in general, the tendency of the Westerners to be less averse to females engaged in sexually inappropriate behavior. The argument is that, in case a woman presents herself in a sexually inappropriate way or engages in sexually inappropriate actions, it is the duty of men to control their sexual instincts and not given to the obviously sexual stimuli. It is a bizarre way of control that mandates men must control natural reaction to sexual displays in order to not be punished. Notice how it is similar to supposedly regressive societies, with the difference that here this control is to be exercised in a society with publicly vulgar attributes. Of course, this has resulted, in general, indecency observed in case of women, and white women specifically, even in more formal environments like colleges, workplaces, and even the parliament. And there is an attempt to normalize it, not by accepting it as normal, for then it would lose its charm, but to allow females to indulge in it without it being touted as indecent. This argument narrates that it is the job of the person who is being subjected to sexual discomfort to control his sexual impulses, that to realize the discomfort as sexual, and then to control the discomfort caused by others in a free society. If it sounds suspicious, the Westerners make the same argument as that of sexual predators, and interestingly, it is championed by the Western populace at large, irrespective of political or religious beliefs. What is even more interesting is that this argument does not apply in case the party being discomforted is comprised of women and the supposed perpetrators are men. Therein, causing sexual discomfort is a sign of perversion, uncivilized behavior, and possibly sexually criminal mentality. The West hates male lust, even after accepting female sexual liberation, very noticeably separating female sexual behavior from both lust and perversion. This argument, born clearly by a belief bordering on, if not actually, being sexually predatory, does not even spare young boys who are considered a fair game. Sexual displays of women in front of young men or boys is both a sign of empowerment and freedom. Interestingly, women committing well-defined sexual crimes against men or boys are given little punishment, making the Westerners rape apologists. If one considers their own argument that equate display of any sympathy for sexual criminals or perverts as a sign of self-guilt. But of course, the Westerners largely hold that sexual crimes against men are nothing in comparison to sexual crimes against women, with the sexual crimes being defined in ways that inherently attribute them to masculinity. This ideology, encompassing almost whole of the Western populace, as argued, does not even leave out boys, and encourages or tolerates what is sexually predatory argument as a means of justifying female sexual liberation. It is not a bug, but a feature of the West that treats men of all ages as sexual beings, while women of all ages as potential sexual victims, regardless of their own conscious sexual conduct. The West's general belief in civilized populace is hilariously comprised of women in skimpy and sexually provocative outfits that gel in quietly with the supposedly decent population, and the sexual indecency of the woman is covered by a strict stance against male perversion, rendering any identification of female sexual behavior as sexual possible. As defined by its own stance on male sexuality and male sexuality in public, the West's stance on female sexual freedom, a celebration of female sexual behavior and its mandated imposition on others, involving the governments, courts, police, and the populace. The West's acceptance of female sexual desires while hating the male ones is not bordered in freedom, but in the use of men and masculinity for public sexual gratification by females, reflecting the true mentality of its men